Moving on now to Africa. The European Union has been accused of enabling migrant slave trade. You heard that, right? A new report shows how European policies are inadvertently fueling human trafficking, reportedly, with migrants being sold for as little as £10, that's $12. The report, titled State Trafficking, Expulsion and Sale of Migrants from Tunisia to Libya, it is based on months of research. It includes testimonies from 30 people, reportedly, from countries like Sudan, Guinea, Cameroon. In fact, they all recounted how they're being sent from Tunisia to Libya between June 2023 and November 2024. But the investigation conducted by several humanitarian groups reveals a systematic operation where migrants were rounded up by Tunisian authorities before being sent across the border and sold, reportedly, for £10 per person. The report found that women migrants fetched more as they are used as sex slaves, up to £75 each, that's $93. In one case, reportedly, a migrant told researchers, quote, "They sold us to the Libyans. I really mean buying and selling like for objects. They sold us like slaves." Which then brings us to the role of the EU. The NGOs that conducted this investigation found that the capture and sale of black sub-Saharan African migrants, was being enabled, quote unquote, by the EU and Italy. They both struck deals with the Tunisian government to crack down on migrants and stop boats from trying to cross the Mediterranean. You see, since 2017, Rome has invested nearly $90 million in training and equipping Tunisia's border guards. These agreements have been credited for significantly reducing the number of migrants reaching Italy. And according to one report, there's been a 59% decrease in crossings from North Africa, thanks to the policy. And while these policies have reduced migrants coming in, it has increased severe human rights violations. The migrants are allegedly rounded up in Tunisian cities, transported to detention centers near the Libyan border. From there, they are allegedly sold to Libyan militias. The report also detailing instances of torture, sexual violence and forced labor. The European Commission is yet to comment on this report. In fact, on Wednesday, this report was presented to the EU's Parliament by a group of left-wing legislators who basically condemned the EU's role in these human rights abuses. The Telegraph cited Spanish MEP Estrella Galan as saying, and I'm quoting, "It is an appalling act of irresponsibility that European funds are being used to facilitate the trafficking of human beings between Tunisia and Libya, reducing lives to mere commodities valued at just 12 to 90 euros. Indeed, this report raises some very serious questions. How can the EU justify these policies knowing that they could enable such human rights violations? It has been over 2 days since the report was presented in the EU Parliament. Why is the EU silent on the matter? Currently, agreements and policies prioritize reducing migration, but they neglect to safeguard human rights. Isn't it time then for Europe to end practices that continue systemic abuses? Why are some lives more valuable than others?